Hello everyone, welcome back to Analytical Guy. In this video, I'll talk about pursuing masters from abroad, be it from United States or Australia, UK, New Zealand, or any country from Europe. So many options are there, thousands of universities all across the globe. So which university should you choose? Also, it's a very important question that you should ask yourself that should you go for masters of business analytics or should you go for masters of data science or business administration? What are the basic differences or what are the future prospects once you do this masters, and will you get a good job with good salaries? So we'll talk about all these aspects. Also, there were so many messages on LinkedIn from various future students. Maybe they were asking about the life in Perth, then what are the salary expectations, internship opportunities, employments are there after masters or not, and can you work during your studies? And what is the course curriculum? Is it really good? Is it practical or it's just theory? So I'll be answering all these questions in this particular video. Also, I will explain the 9 criteria framework to shortlist your university. So let's get started. All right. So first of all, let's start with 9 key criterias that you should consider before finalizing any university. So as you can see on this spreadsheet, first criteria is academic excellence. So just go for university ranking, see what is the ranking, faculty expertise, program reputation. So for university ranking, you can just go for QS ranking. This is the link. I'll share this spreadsheet with you. So just understand what I'm talking about right now. No need to write something. So just go on this link and see what is the rank of the university and see the reputation. So many rankings would be there. So currently UWA ranking globally is 77. So I would say rating would be 7 out of 10, right? And weightage of this would be medium. I won't say university ranking is the most important criteria, right? So that's it. That is why this is medium for me. And then faculty expertise, this is really important because once you join any university, you would be learning so many things from the faculty. If the faculty is not up to the mark, so your studies might go for a toss. So I would say the weightage for this would be really high. Rating would be 7, so no bias at all. I mean, faculty is really good, but of course, you can't beat Harvard or Stanford kind of universities faculty, right? So that is for faculty expertise. Then program reputation. So if you come to Perth, for example, I'm just talking about all these criterias from UWA perspective as of now, and then we can make it quite generic. In program reputation, I would say the rating would be 8 if I talk about data science or business analytics, because if you go and talk to any employer, they will be happy to talk to you because you say, I did masters in data science from UWA. UWA is a brand. It is one of the best university in Australia, best university in Western Australia. Program is really good. It's all about the skill set at the end, but program reputation is important as well, right? So I would say rating is 8, weightage is high. So this is about criteria number 1, academic excellence. And I would say it is important to understand, assess the faculty. And if you ask me how to understand program reputation and faculty expertise before joining the university, so, for this matter of fact, you can just connect with alums and talk to the existing or current students through LinkedIn, or connect on various groups that are there on LinkedIn as well as on Instagram and Facebook. Just try to reach out to so many people and understand what they are saying, and just try to absorb whatever you're getting from everyone, but try to understand and don't accept everything, but you need to understand what's happening around. Then second criteria would be course structure. I think this is very important from the relevance point of view. For example, if I say you are going for masters of data science and you don't study generative AI, then I would say it is quite bad because you're not learning generative AI kind of things. So I would rate it 6 or 7. So that is important, right? So in my case, in UWA, curriculum is really good, but Gen AI, I would say, is not that much. So that's the reason I gave 7 out of 10. But it's not bad at all. It is a nice curriculum, and I will explain you step by step what are the units I took and what is my rating on it, and should you choose it or not in this video itself. So that is the next section. Now coming to the specializations available. So there are various specializations, but it's not that great if you compare it with University of Melbourne or University of Sydney, for example. So that's the reason I gave it as a rating as 7 out of 10. Research opportunities, it's outstanding. UWA is one of the best university in terms of research. So if you have to do research in, for example, healthcare or supply chain or various other domains, so UWA can be a very nice place to be in. That's the reason I give 9 out of 10. But for example, if you're just coming for masters in data science coursework and you're not concerned about research opportunities and all, so maybe the relevance for you for this particular criteria is very low. That's the reason I gave this as low, because for me, I don't care if research is really good or not, but I just want that the course is really good. I'm learning new things. I am able to connect with the employers. I am able to get the good jobs. That's important for me, right? Then coming to the third criteria, that is cost and financial aid. First is tuition fees. It is a very important criteria. So whenever you choose a particular university, you will consider the tuition fees, right? So for example, if we talk about in Indian rupees, University of Western Australia, it is somewhere around 70, 80 lakhs for 2 years coursework, right? So on an annual basis, it is somewhere around 40 lakhs, which is really high. If you compare it with, for example, universities in UK, that is for 1 year coursework, would be somewhere around 25 lakhs, right? So this is fairly expensive. And this is just tuition fees. We are not talking about the accommodation, then your groceries, food, and all those daily chores, right? So it is very expensive. But if you compare with tier 2 or tier 3 universities, which are not top rankers, but they are good enough. So they would be somewhere around 50 or 60 lakhs for 2 years. That comes out somewhere around 25 or 30 lakhs per annum in Australia. So you might consider them as well. So that is a very important criteria. And I gave 5 out of 10 because UWA is expensive, right? But if you compare UWA with the universities in United States, then you might feel that it is to the par and it's not that expensive, because in United States for 2 years course, the tuition fees and all can go up to 90 lakhs and 1 CR, right? So in that aspect, it's not that bad, but 5 is a decent rating from that perspective. And coming to scholarships and grants, there are decent scholarships, not that great, maybe 10 to 15% discount kind of thing. But there are limited scholarships which are given for like 90% or 100% scholarships. So it is highly unlikely for you to get that kind of scholarship. So considering that, scholarships are not that great. So I would say rating is 6, and weightage again would be medium to high. So medium is good. Cost of living, Perth is expensive, but if we consider Australia, Australia is expensive. Perth is slightly cheaper if we compare it with Sydney and Melbourne. So if you are going for University of Sydney or University of Melbourne versus University of Western Australia and Perth, so I would definitely say, if you're considering cost of living and tuition fees, then go for University of Western Australia, right? Now coming to criteria number 4, that is location and culture. So is your university close enough to the to the industry? So that is very important, because once you're done with your university, you will be going for jobs, right? And if the companies are not close enough, then it's really hard. They won't be able to come to university. They won't be knowing much about university. So there is a gap, right? But in case of University of Western Australia, we have a nice industry in Perth in Western Australia. So predominantly we talk about healthcare, we talk about supply chain, mining. So many industries are there, and there are massive job opportunities here. But if we consider technical jobs, so these are limited, but it's not bad actually. So in that regards, I have given the rating of 6 because again, if we compare it with metro cities like Sydney, Melbourne, or if we go for United States, go for New York, then definitely Perth is nowhere near Sydney or Melbourne, right? So that's the reason I gave 6 out of 10. In terms of language and cultural compatibility, I would say there is no problem. The main language here is English, so that is predominantly everywhere. So, for example, if you plan to go to Germany, you have to learn German, right? So, culturally or language wise, it can be tough for you, can be challenging. So, that's the reason it is important, but it's not uh, on a higher priority. So, I would say language wise, rating is 10 on 10. Climate and environment, I would say Perth is one of the best places in terms of climate. It is quite nice. It's not very cold. It's not very hot. Sometimes it can be. Maybe in the month of February, it can reach out to 40 degrees. But overall, it is beautiful. Nice beaches all across. You would love to, scroll around and have a nice lifestyle. So I would say 9 out of 10. But again, it is not very important. If you are looking for a master's abroad, you would definitely look for the value for money, going for best jobs, going for best quality of education. So that is more important. But of course, at the end, everything matters, right? So this is about the criteria number 4. Then criteria number 5 is career opportunities, internship, job placements. It is very important. I think this is one of the most important element for any student who is coming and paying so much, right? So they everyone wants internship in their field. Everyone wants to have a good job after their masters. So is it good in Western Australia? It is pretty much decent. So if you are doing masters in business analytics, for example, so you can go and become business analyst or data analyst, or you can also become domain specific uh, professional, for example, supply chain analyst or healthcare analyst, depending on your experience or your bachelor's in which domain you have already done. So depending on that, you can tweak your career and go ahead with that. And it is really nice. I mean, there are so many good opportunities. People do get the jobs and do get internships in big firms, in small firms. So in terms of internships and job placements, it's pretty much decent. But I would say 20 or 30% of students would get internships and job placements, and in their own field, I'm saying. Otherwise, somewhere around 80% would be the students who would be getting jobs after their masters, but not necessarily to be in the same domain where they studied their masters in. So yeah, that's about internship and job placements, and it is really high, right? And I gave 7 out of 10 for University of Western Australia. Now, coming to networking opportunities, uh, so this is a quite pretty close knit group in Perth, and there are so many people who have their own groups. So networking here is not that hard because everyone. So for example, if we compare it with Sydney is quite diverse. There are so many professionals coming in, and you might get lost. But in Perth, it is a close knit society kind of a place where hundreds or two hundreds of professionals are there, or thousands are there maximum, and everyone out of them 10 or 20% network, and who networks they have a nice group. So I would say networking opportunities are there, and it depends on you how you take it from there. I would rate it 7 out of 10. Considering post-study work opportunities. So everyone in if you are an international student and you are studying masters in data science or business analytics or any other that is at least 2 years of masters, so you would be getting two minimum 2 years of post-study visa, if I'm not wrong. But you have to check. I'm not a migration agent or expert, so You can just check from the website what is the current post study work visa rights and all those stuff. But in that case, you have at least 2 years to work uh, in a company, right? So you can work in good companies, get good salaries, and save for yourself in 2 years or 3 years. And then you can extend the visa depending on the requirements, and then you can apply for PR also. So there are good opportunities, and it depends on you how you carve your journey, and what are the skill sets that you get with yourself, right? So this was about the criteria 5. Criteria 6 is university resources, and in my opinion, this is not a very important criteria, but still, you need to understand the facilities. If the labs are modern, advanced, libraries are good enough. Do you have the support services like career, mental health, international student support is there or not? So in all these aspects, I would say 8, 9, and 9 for University of Western Australia. And then coming to important criteria, alumni and peer feedback, because if alumni are well placed, it shows that the quality of students or studies at UWA is really good, right? So there is alumni success stories. So you can just go on the UWA website and just see and just connect with various alums. And you should check with current students to get their own reviews and feedbacks, how they like it or not. And I would say the rating would be 8 out of 10 for both. Then coming to accreditation part, this is important because wherever you go, it is important to understand what kind of accreditation the university has. So if we talk about the program and university accreditation, UW has AACSB, that is Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business, and it is very it's not easy to get AACSB, and UW Business School is comes under like 5% of all the universities globally. So it is a very a nice accreditation to have. Finally, coming to the personal goals, that is the ninth criteria. So lifestyle and personal preferences and work-life balance. I would say a Perth, living in Perth, working here, the work-life balance is pretty good. It is really nice if you're working hard, work for 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, depending on your current company, and then just enjoy your life. So I think this is the biggest difference between United States and Australia. So for example, if you go to United States, you might earn really good, for example 150K or 180K, but your work life balance might not be good. So I'm not saying it is not good, but I have the mixed reviews from my friends who have studied in United States. So I would say work life balance is pretty much decent here in Perth. Uh, Pretty much weekends are relaxing, go to the beaches, work out, enjoy your life, and yeah. So that's the reason I give 10 on 10 for the rating in work life balance. Lifestyle and personal preferences would be again 8. So depending on you, because there are so many opportunities here in Perth, you can go for snorkeling, hiking, depending on how outdoorsy you are or touristy you are. So depending on that, so I would rate 8 out of 10. Now, in this spreadsheet, I have compared University of Western Australia versus University of Edinburgh. So you can see column C is University of Western Australia, column D is University of Edinburgh. And you can see these are the 9 criteria that we discussed. University of Western Australia has these ratings, University of Edinburgh has these ratings. And for weightage, we have 3 options: high, medium, and low. For high, I am multiplying it the rating by 1. For medium, I'm multiplying it by 0.7. And for low, I'm multiplying it by 0.5. Because if the weightage is high, I really want to utilize the rating efficiently, right? So this is what I've done here. So if we see University of Western Australia, so if we do the product sum of this column, University of Western Australia, multiplied by this, so we will get 137.3. And for University of Edinburgh, we have 136.9. Right. So we can say from this scenario, maybe this is for me, right? So these are the ratings which I gave because I really expect this for me. For example, Work life balance. For me, it is really important. And University of Western Australia is giving me 10, and University of Edinburgh is giving me 7, right? So if we see here, otherwise, University of Edinburgh is a better university in terms of university ranking, in terms of faculties, in terms of program reputation. You can see the first three parts. In these three sub criterias, University of Edinburgh is the best in between the two, right? But according to my rating, what I gave, University of Western Australia is better than University of Edinburgh. So you can just see if this makes sense to you. Just play around with the numbers and see which is giving you the highest if you're confused between the two. Otherwise, practically, you should consider top universities and see what are the career opportunities after that. Connect with the current students, alumni, and see what are their thoughts on it, because sometimes the reputation of the university changes, and you can't just play around with the spreadsheets and decide which university you should go into, right? So just play around with this spreadsheet and see how it goes for you. And then coming back to one more aspect, salary expectations. So this is what I have seen, checking in the seek.com, LinkedIn, various employers providing the salaries for 0 years experience, that is no work ex, and then more than 2 years of work experience. So for example, if you're applying for a business analyst or data analyst, for a fresher it would be somewhere around 70K, that is 70,000 Australian dollars. This is annual salary, right? And then if we talk about anyone who has experience of more than 2 years, that would be somewhere around 90,000 to 110,000. And depending on your experience and the current skill set, for example, you have 5 years of experience and then doing masters, plus you have amazing skills in uh, business analyst role, right? So maybe you will get 120K. So this is just a range. Similarly, for data engineer, for no work experience, somewhere around 80,000, and somewhere around 100K to 140K Australian dollars for more than 2 years of work experience. So if you have more experience and the skill set is really aligned with what the job description is all about, you might get more than this range. Similarly, with data scientist roles, the starting salary would be somewhere around 80K, and then if we talk about 2+ years of experience, it would be somewhere around 100K to 140K, as similar to data engineer roles, right? So this is about it. So currently the Australian dollar would be somewhere around 55 INR. Just check it online and see and convert it, and you can just see how it goes. So this is about the salary expectations, and it's not easy to grab these salaries as well. So just don't blindly come that, hey, I have no work ex and at least I'll get 70K salary. No, it's not necessary. First of all, it's not necessary for you to get the job in the same field. For example, you are doing masters in business analytics, and you applied for various business analyst roles and you're not able to fetch any job, and then ultimately you're working somewhere else, and then from there after 1 year or 2 year you're progressing towards a business analyst role. So this is quite possible. So just be ready for whatever it takes, right? Now coming to the last section of this video, that is the course curriculum, which I have already done in University of Western Australia. So if we see here, in semester one, I did 4 units, computational thinking with Python. So predominantly it was Python, understanding, learning the core programming concepts, problem solving techniques, and developing the ability to write efficient Python code. So predominantly this was basic and quite mandatory. Of course, many students who would be joining in for Masters of Data Science would be knowing Python before coming to university. So it was like 70-80% people already knew Python. So that was the case. But it is important for university to have that basic understanding for students to go ahead before moving into machine learning, NLP, and all those things. Then second unit was RDBMS. This is predominantly very important, and if you come from computer science background, you must have worked on SQL and predominantly basics of database. So this was important unit, but I mean, I come from this background where I was working on SQL and various other skill sets on databases in my previous company. So for me, it was a cakewalk. But in this, it was gaining a strong foundation in database design, querying data, and understanding relationships in relational databases. Predominantly, it's important for anyone who is in analytics field. Right. Then coming to analysis of observation, it is predominantly very important unit, and the statistics is the basic requirement for any machine learning engineer or anyone who is in data science field. Right. So you should not uh, take it lightly. It is very important unit where you're working on hypothesis testing, mastering statistical methods for analyzing data sets. So hypothesis testing is very important. I am sure you must have heard about null hypothesis or alternate hypothesis. So this is what mostly we are working on in analysis of observation. And then fourth unit in semester one was a computational data analysis. It was again on R. So we worked mostly on R Studio and understanding how to clean the data set, how to manipulate it, and then finally how to visualize the data using R. So we worked on dplyr and various other libraries, and it was very important, very interesting unit for me. So this was about semester one. In semester two, predominantly I worked on machine learning. It was mostly about machine learning algorithms, understanding all the algorithms and their applications, how to build and evaluate predictive models. It was very important unit, very interesting unit, and I would suggest anyone who is going in masters of data science or even masters of business analytics, look for this unit. Very interesting unit. Then second unit was natural language processing. It was about, as you understand, natural language processing, working on neural networks. So I learned about how to pre-process and analyze text data and developing the NLP models and applying deep learning for language tasks. It was really interesting, and professor is really nice for this unit. Then open source tool and scripting. I was predominantly working on bash scripting and version controlling. And if you're a data scientist, this is quite important. Initially, I was thinking it's not very important why we should take this, but overall, it is important to gain proficiency in bash scripting for automation or system admin, also to interact with open source tools. Right. And then finally, fourth unit was analysis of experiment. So it is similar to analysis of observation, predominantly where we are working on R and understanding various experiments using R, including ANOVA and regression techniques, for example. So this was it about semester two. Then in semester three, it was about Bayesian computing and statistics. It is quite challenging. And if you come from mathematics background, still it is not that easy. So I thought it would be a cakewalk or it would be very easy for me. I really like mathematics, but this was not easy, but very important unit. So if you want to develop expertise in Bayesian statistics, posterior estimation, and applying Bayesian inference, to real world problems. This is a very important unit. Then we also had business intelligence, where I was working on SQL and Power BI. Predominantly, this is my comfort space. I took this because I don't want to overburden with the complex units for me. So this was pretty much easy. So you can skip this if you don't want to work on business intelligence part. Then come to the third unit, that is cloud computing, and this is very interesting and very important unit. I would say I was working on AWS and then using Python, working on various cleaning part and working on machine learning models in AWS cloud itself. Because in this scenario, you should know how to work on cloud computing. At least one cloud concept should be clear, and deploying of various data applications in the cloud, very important unit. So if you are considering masters of data science, do consider taking this unit. Then finally, last unit for the semester 3 was data science capstone project. So this was the practical project, I would say, and I was working with the healthcare client, and it was about de-identification of various fields, and it was mostly related to NLP and machine learning. So applying knowledge gained through various units in the past semesters. So it was a really nice real world data set, and um, very nice to work with the team who would be working on different aspects. So I would strongly suggest to take data science capstone project once you enroll in data science course. In semester 4, that is commencing next year in February, I would be taking applied predictive modeling, data warehousing, computer vision, and then there is a semester internship. That is again a hands-on industry experience. So I would say overall, it's a nice laid out course. And then if I work on various other Gen AI projects just to upskill myself apart from these. So overall, I would say course is pretty much decent, and I can see there are some more updates in the course. So if you're joining next year, there would be new updates, which is good. So yeah, overall, this is it about the course structure. If there is any unaddressed question that you have in your mind, you can just reach out to me on my email ID or LinkedIn. I would be happy to help you because I know it is not easy to understand and decide which university you should go into. And if you have decided, then you would be anxious to know so many things. So I can understand. I was there 2 years ago. So if you have questions, just comment below in this video. I will help you instantly. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys.